Hey guys, I haven't posted a fishing video in a couple weeks. I apologize for that. Been out of state one weekend, and this weekend actually I went out with some friends, and it was my first time being out in the bay, and I didn't really feel like recording me not catching what I was after. I'm still learning how to fish out on saltwater and everything else. But I've had the boat that I've had, which is a Sea Hunt 234 Ultra. It's a 2014 model, for about a month and a half now. And for the people that were interested in buying one, new or used, I bought mine used. The guy that had it before me took great care of it. For all those that were interested in buying one, I wanted to go over a few pros and cons of the boat so you knew what you're getting into. Overall, I'm going to say this boat has been amazing. I come off of an 18-foot fishing ski on the freshwater, and this boat's draft, which is how far it sets in the water, is only about 13 inches. Once you have it fully loaded, it's actually about 18 inches, but that's still only a foot and a half, which means that you can fish these boats in pretty much any body of water. It doesn't limit you to saltwater only, or where it's deeper lakes only, or anything like that. I mean, I can drop the trolling motor on the boat and pick the motor up on the rear and troll around in 2 foot of water, fishing for everything from largemouth bass to speckled trout, and not think twice about it. It's overall, it fishes much bigger than it is. It says it has an 8-person capacity. I may or may not have exceeded that capacity and fished off of it just fine. We had 4 people catching catfish off the back and 2 people catching catfish off the front, with some other people also hanging out on the boat with us. It never felt crowded. It never felt like anybody was in each other's way or having to step around each other. Overall, it was a really good fishing experiment to figure out what we could handle on the boat. The rod holders are in great places from the factory. I did add a few extra rod holders to the rails on the front end of the boat, and I can show you guys that when I flip the camera around here in a minute and start doing the videos of inside of the boat for what I like. Like I said, its draft is great. I have a Minnkota Altera 112-pound thrust, 72-inch shaft trolling motor on it. It's a 36-volt, and it'll pull the boat on calm water at about 4 miles an hour. It has the spot lock feature, and the trolling motor alone has completely replaced anchors for me on the boat. I haven't used an anchor in 4 weeks since I got the trolling motor. I don't need to use spot lock, and even with this being a 23-foot boat, that spot lock will hold this boat in position. The boat doesn't blow hard in the wind. It settles out relatively easy. As far as cruising down the water is concerned, it does splash a little bit. I do have to say there's more spray that comes into the boat than I expected. It's not a deep V. It is a modified V. It does start at a 19-degree slope on the front and broaden out as it gets towards the back, which is nice on calmer waters because it lets you plane out better and move a little faster, and it keeps you on rougher waters from doing as much rocking back and forth. So with that 19-degree in the front and it not being a deep V, though, when you break through the bigger waves, it does in fact spray quite a bit. If you adjust your speed right, and I've managed to do that now, you learn to keep that spray out of the boat. It's the difference between traveling 22 mile an hour and traveling 17 mile an hour, or traveling 37 mile an hour and traveling 29 mile an hour. So it's just what you get used to. You learn the boat, but it does spray into the boat, especially in a quartering sea, which is where the water is going to be coming at you, not straight into the waves, but into the side of the boat or at an angle. So it does spray in quite a bit. So be prepared for that if you're planning on doing some cold weather fishing. Get some spray wings to keep the water from coming up in the boat, that sort of thing. The live well system on the boat works great. It has a rear live well, and it has a bait well in the leaner, the back seat, behind the seat rather. It comes factory with plenty of rod storage. My boat does have 29 rod holders, which is a lot, but you know, when you're planning on going out and using a bunch of different rods and you've got a bunch of people on the boat, sometimes you need that. The padding on the boat is great. It's very durable. It's a very good vinyl. The seat cushions are a very, very durable vinyl. The kids love them. They're very comfortable. They don't seem to break down easily. They hold form well. They clean extremely easily. They snap on and off wonderfully. Everything about this boat is really meant for a crossbreed of getting the most out of fishing and still being comfortable. And I have been in Key Wests and Sea Pros and a couple whalers, that sort of thing. And they're all nice. Every boat has its own features, but this is a very good mix between comfort and fishability. And I would say it really does lean more towards fishability, to be completely honest. So overall with the boat, I'm in a month and a half of fishing it. I have to give it higher than my expectations. I would say fairly, I would give it an 8.5 out of 10. Everybody's going to find something they don't like about their boats. And I will point a couple little things out that what drops it to an 8.5 out of 10 rather than a 10 out of 10 here in just a minute. So I'll flip the camera around and I'll start showing you guys some of the features of the boat that I really like and a couple of the things that I do think maybe could use some more. Let's start with the back of the boat here. Start off with, this is the well on the left hand side, gets you into your batteries. The middle gets you into your live well, and the right gets you into hold a 5-gallon bucket, which is great for bait or to put a spare anchor in, anything like that. And these seats do go up and down extremely well. They are very durable to stand on. I've not had any issues with them. I don't use the cushions back here because we stand on these so much to fish. But the cushions, I do have them, and I'm sure they hold up as well as the front has. I do know that some of the newer boats, I believe on the right hand side, have a feature. Instead of having these rod holders here, I think they have built in a door that can open and close so that you can get on and off the boat from the ladder a little bit easier. And I do have to say that I really like that feature. It doesn't kill you, I mean, but it's just convenient. There's plenty of rod holders. There's, you know, 2 built in there, 2 built in there. The gun wells have 2 built in each side. The gun wells are relatively spacey, but like most gun wells in a boat like this, they're not long enough to put a very long pole in. You're stuck to your shorter poles. I really don't even use them because I've got so many rod holders, but if you were going to use them, I can see where not having more length could be a problem. So if you don't have poles that break down and you don't like poles being in pole holders, that's something that could be a detriment to you. It does have the really nice anchor points on the boat. My brain's not working to remember what these are called at the moment, sorry. But they are very nice. They hold up very well. They're durable, they're tough. I have a 200 horsepower. That'll move this boat 23 foot down the water. The fastest I've had it's about 43 miles an hour. The fuel economy is about 4 miles to the gallon. So that's, on a boat this size, pretty good. These are my rod holders. That's Starbright deck cleaner. I definitely suggest that stuff. I'm pretty impressed with that. These are my rod holders on the leaner on the back of it. And up high, and as you can see, it's got a storage thing for the life vests and everything right there. And then up above the console is where the radio is inside, and additional dry storage. It's a good space. It is hard to access if you're short, and I'm only 5'9", so it's a little hard for me to get into it. I usually have to stand up on something a little bit to get up there. But I mean, it's a nice space. The bait well for live bait is actually right here. Use this cooler lid as a cutting board. I haven't bought one yet. But the bait well, and this is a positive pressure bait well. So what that means is it seals down. That way your bait stays alive longer. And that does help. It's a very nice thing to have. As you can see, this one has the built-in hook holders and for your pliers and your knives and everything like that. It does have storage here on the sides to keep, you know, tackle, or in my case, my ethanol remover and some line and such. It has storage on this side like that, which is a couple shelves and a pocket. And then the starboard side has a couple of drawers and the knife holder inside there. And then above the drawers is for a few Plano boxes. I like that use of space. The rest of this is pretty well insulated. There is probably some dead space under the seat here that I think they could optimize. The cushion to stand on here at the driving console, I really suggest that. It does, if you're going for a while down the water, it gets kind of hard on your feet and your knees to stand there if you're captain for an hour and you've got to look up over the windshield because there's some spray coming up or something like that. So I do think that's a good thing. The foot holder there in the bottom is at a good angle, especially for the leaner. It's very comfortable. The cushions and the seats on here, as I've said, are good. They're very comfortable. They're durable. There's more storage there. As you can see, there's a ton of space for your electronics. Those are Simrad 9-inch Go, so Simrad Go 9s. I'm really impressed with the units. I may do a review on those eventually too. I've got to learn them a little bit better, honestly, but from what I come from, they're very nice. It does have trim tabs. This boat is a manual. I'm not sure if the new ones come with an automatic trim tab system or not. The trim tabs are amazing. If you don't know what those do, definitely look it up. They can really help in some choppy water and some quartering wind. It has an infinity system in it, and it sounds much better than I expected. Much, much better. It's got 4 speakers. The speaker wiring in here, I have been told, the gentleman before me redone it. He said the wiring for their speakers in these boats is actually pretty crap. So be aware of that. You may not care. You may never use the speakers, but if you're going to, that is something I think you should keep an eye on. These are actually usually where the black plates here are for the Simrads mounted in. That's usually just a white deck before you get any electronics added. That was added for flare to look good, and I actually like it quite a bit. There's access point to get into like your fuel lines and for running your wire and everything. That panel right there is your access point. It fuels on the side of the boat. These are the extra rod holders on these rails up through here that I've added. And if you do plan on doing that, know that you will not get a steeper angle than 45 degrees without pushing into your cushions real bad. And that'll cause wear on your cushions. And I didn't go deep enough to do that. So, but it is relatively easy to get the rod holders on here. This is the Minnkota Altera trolling motor I was talking about. Like I said, I'm very impressed with it. Cleats. That's what I was thinking of earlier. One thing I don't like, if you do not use a trolling motor, there is no cleat dead center front of the boat, which means that you do not have a center anchoring point for your anchors. So you can never truly be straight off from your anchor. You're always going to be quartered off from your anchor. And if you're running a 2-anchor system, especially where you're going front to back, it changes it. It makes it so that your boat constantly pivots. So it is a detriment to me that there is no anchor point direct center of the boat. So keep that in mind. And also where the anchor goes in here, I know I do have an oversized anchor and it looks like it sets just fine. But down inside, if the rope gets underneath the anchor at all, you can't fit the anchor down in. So you are constantly maneuvering the rope to get the anchor down in. So if you're planning on running an oversized anchor, you need to ask about how much room. They may have increased that in the newer models. That's something to keep in mind. Plenty of cup holders on the boat. That's really nice. They always got someplace to set a drink. These holes are for headrests, well, backrests that set down inside, so that when you're forward facing going down the water, you have something to lean against. It's more comfortable for the passengers. It's pretty cool. And then the cushions, even with the cushions being on, the storage will still pick up. And that's nice because I've been on boats where if you have the cushions on, you cannot pick the storage lids up. The hydraulics don't hold or the cushions get in the way so bad that you can't get to that area. You have to remove the cushion first, and that's not the case with these, and that's really nice. This side is a smaller side, and they do have drain holes, and they do have plugs, and they do stay quite cold. I'm pretty impressed with the insulation on them myself. On a hot summer day, adding a moist towel over your ice, if you're putting any fish in there or anything, will help keep the ice longer. I have tried that. It was suggested to me, and it does help quite a bit. Your ice doesn't melt off nearly as fast. So something to keep in mind. All of the decking on this boat is non-skid. Basically, any place that you can step on. Here, I mean, underneath this cushion, the deck, up on the side rails back here, the seats, on the back side, on both sides of the engine, everything is non-skid, and it's really good non-skid. I wear Crocs all the time, and I could stand anywhere on this boat where the non-skid is in some pretty rough water, and I don't slip and slide at all, so it's really good stuff. Something I wanted to show for the cushioning system that really impressed me for the boat is this snap style. Instead of just having a snap stuck to the bottom of the cushion, they have every snap on this little strap. So when I put this lid down and I go to snap it, I stick my finger in that snap point and I'm snapped down. That cushion is snapped. That's wonderful. That's really, really nice. And as you can see, this side is much bigger than the other side, so this would be for your bigger fish. I do know that it'll hold some dolphin and stuff like that, so it's plenty big enough for that. And again, it's got the plug and the drain. It's really nice. The cushions snap the same way there. Here is the cooler, center front of the boat, and it just flips up, and down in there is where your drinks would go. It also has a plug, and it does drain into the boat. On the side right there is the drain hole for that. Your two fronts drain off to the left and to the right of the boat on the outside of the boat. That's, I mean, it's fine. It's what most systems are set up like that. The plug in the boat is a screw-in style plug. That's a plus to me. You don't have to worry about losing a screw in. As I said, non-skid on both sides back here. One downfall for sure, if you're trying to get into this area to work on your batteries or to work on your fuel lines, to work on your pump for your water system, which, by the way, the spray system in this boat works very well. Very nice feature. You can load up fresh water or use salt water. It's really good. Sorry, I'm rambling a little bit. But yeah, so that's a nice system. But yeah, it's extremely hard to access the points to work on some of the stuff in this boat. Like I said, it's really hard to get to the battery area. Honestly, it's really hard to get down inside of that area unless there's a hack to get in there that I haven't figured out yet, which that's possible. And one last thing I almost forgot about on the boat. This is actually a big enough center console that this is a step down in center console. Now, I have mine set up. If my camera will adjust, I'll build a little wooden platform real quick. I've got a battery system set up in here for my trolling motor. It's a 3-bank system. Built a wooden shelving unit, so to speak, to set in there so I can carry a portage on in here. I have 3 young daughters, and there's a light inside up top. And when they need to go to the bathroom and we're on the water, there's plenty of room. So they can get in there and use the bathroom, and I think that's really important. If you're not going to run a trolling motor, there's that much more room. My wife and I can actually get in and out of there without the batteries in. So if you could put the battery somewhere else instead of in here, you would have a ton of room in here. And then this is all your electronics on the back side. So if you have to get to them to work on them, it's really nice that you can. And the cover that they put in there is a good quality cover. It's not a cheap plastic. It is a vinyl. It does snap in really easily. It's got twist locks and snap locks, and it holds up really well. And the way that they designed the console on the back side makes it really easy to work on, add to, change. It's just a very good setup as far as making it so that the person that owns the boat can actually work on the boat. It doesn't have to be somebody that knows every little trick. But so this is pretty much all the things that you can expect if you're going to buy one of these units. And like I said, I don't have anything to say bad enough to tell you to not buy it. I think if you're interested in one of these and you want a combination of fishing and comfort, you can really get on some fish out of this boat. Really, really get on some fish. And you can also throw some cushions in and go chill in the water and drink a beer with your buddies and hang out. And it doesn't feel like you're in the wrong boat or in the wrong world. So, Sea Hunt 234 Ultra, like I said, overall 8.5. Just don't hesitate. Go pick one up. I'm not a sponsor for them or anything like that. I just really like this boat. It's everything that you think it'll be. So, thanks for watching, guys. I hope you enjoyed the review. If you have any questions or anything, leave a comment. Let me know. Like and subscribe. I do post some fishing videos. I try to get one up every week to 2 weeks. And as I get more equipment and more experience, I'll be posting maybe more frequently than that. So stay tuned. Like I said, smash that like and subscribe button. And hit me up if you've got any questions. Thanks for watching.